ma, ma. Hi, I'm Abram with 30 Day Singer, and this video is designed to help you determine if you are a contralto. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. While you're at it, hit that like button. It would really help us out. Now back to the lesson. A contralto is a treble-clef singer that sits above the tenor voice type and below an alto. The term alto classically includes both contraltos and mezzo-sopranos, so often contraltos are labeled as lower-voiced altos and are actually very similar to, if not slightly lower in range, than many lower-voiced mezzo-sopranos. A contralto can be a very low female singer or an exceptionally high male singer, which is often called a countertenor in certain situations. They are essentially the same thing when it comes to range. So the first way to determine if you are a contralto is to see if you can sing comfortably in the middle of this range from F3 to C5. All the way up to here. This is often referred to as your tessitura. Your voice should have the best and most natural sound quality here. And so tessitura is a word that specifically excludes the very extreme edge of your range on either side. There are extremes in any category, but in my opinion, this is largely due to the difficulty in categorizing voice types and range. A contralto can have a range from C3 to F5. That's all the way down to close to where a tenor is. All the way up to here. This includes head voice and chest voice. A contralto is essentially the equivalent term to countertenor when it comes to range. It's not even that far from a typical tenor range, singing as low as around that C3. This is very similar to how a countertenor can sometimes sing up to the range of a mezzo-soprano. It's mentioned that some contralto singers can sing all the way up to B-flat 5 right here. But this seems open to interpretation, as voice types are all on a spectrum. And a voice type is identified by more than just its range. So no need to demonstrate this, and please be careful not to overextend your range without warming up and the guidance of a teacher. The other way to determine if you are a contralto is to find where your break range, also known as your passaggio, is. This is where your voice cracks, or with proper training, transitions smoothly from chest voice to head voice. A contralto is typically going to transition out of chest voice into head voice through their passaggio around G4 or A4. Right around there. In this way, contraltos tend to sing more in chest voice than in head voice. Also, their head voice, much like a bass, is very dark and very rich in timbre when in balance with their chest voice tone. A contralto typically has a deep, dark, and weighted sound compared to other altos and mezzo-sopranos. This is a very similar relationship when comparing a contrabass to a higher bass or baritone. They will also have a very opposite timbre to a light and bright soprano. Contraltos even tend to have a darker, heavier tone than other higher voiced altos. Even though the range is almost the same, the tone quality of a contralto compared to a countertenor may be quite different. A countertenor will usually sound like they're in head voice more often, and so the tone in the middle of this range can sound more reedy or thinner than the dark and full tone from a contralto in the same spot. A contralto is more likely using a more chest voice type of resonance in the same spot. The tricky thing about middle voice singers like that, of a countertenor or a contralto, is that each voice type can imitate the other fairly well, especially with vocal training. Let's get comfortable with that lower register. Many contraltos don't allow their voice to drop low enough when finding their comfortable range. This can mean there's a considerable amount of tension from trying to imitate higher voice singers, even in day-to-day speech. Take your time. Let's start low with this pattern. Ma, ma. Again, that's ma, ma. Focus on using the brightness of the first sound to position your vowel for dropping into the lower note. So I might angle it a little more forward and go ma, ma. Relax your support as you drop down, but keep the resonance bright. This will help balance your larynx and avoid chin pressing like this. Ma, mo. Instead, do it like this. Ma, ma. Let's try it a few more times. Ma, ma. I'm going to take this down. Ma, ma. Ma, ma. Ma, ma. Ma, ma. And let's go up now. Ma, ma. Ma, ma. Ma, ma. Ma, ma. Ma, ma. Just a few more. Ma, ma. Ma, ma. Contraltos can sing plenty high enough for the most common belty pop range we hear on the radio, but it's more likely that they're going to make a much bigger booming sound and will need a strong and deep connection to their breath support through steady vocal conditioning from the very bottom up first. This propensity to belt or megaphone the sound too much can cause lots of tongue and jaw tension. Contraltos should focus on finding some head-voice mix to find a more balanced tone in general. Let's try switching between chest and head voice with an ah to E siren like this. You may want to look in a mirror. Avoid this. That's tension versus Let's try that a few more times. A little higher. One more. Many contraltos feel forced into trying to sing music for higher voice types. I encourage all singers to explore songs in different keys to see what range feels most natural. Finding the effortless part of your range is the key to ultimately expanding into the higher parts of your voice. Contraltos, in my opinion, are defined more by the tone quality and specific tendencies for registration rather than range or gender by that. Knowing if you are a contralto or not can help you find where in your range you should start to train your voice and how to develop the sound to find more balance and comfort. Contraltos, in my opinion, are defined more by the tone quality and specific tendencies for registration rather than range or gender. Knowing if you are a contralto or not can help you find where in your range you should start to train your voice and how to develop the sound to find more balance and comfort. What other tips would you like to see here on this channel? Leave a comment and let me know. And be sure to check out 30daysinger.com for more in-depth step-by-step lessons.